Hello, everybody, and Merry Christmas Eve. I just wanted to reach out to you all and talk to you guys a little bit about my brother, Jason Davis, and his story. My name is Jillian Ross. My cousin, my mother, Jason, and I put together a platform to share a story and to let you all know what's been going on. Since the GoFundMe has been going around, I've received multiple questions about what all has happened with Jason and what his story is, why we've been hitting these roadblocks. I'm a registered nurse, and like I mentioned, I'm his sister, and I've been fighting for Jason to try to help him navigate his healthcare, find doctors, find treatments, and hope for him. He was diagnosed with COVID at the end of July 2020. He was running a fever for weeks, and he was super sick, rolling over in bed in excruciating pain. It took him weeks to recover. And he was in so much pain, he went to the emergency room. They did blood work and showed his platelets were super low. His white blood cells were low. They did show his D-dimer was elevated at over 5,000. However, they ended up sending him away, and they said that he may have cancer with a hematology follow-up a month later. At this point in time, I wasn't really a part of his healthcare team. And he was getting all of this information. He was overwhelmed, not feeling well, not really asking for help from anyone. His condition continued to get worse, and they thought that he might have leukemia, and they said that they thought he might have had a heart attack. Meanwhile, Jason established care with a hematologist, oncologist, a GI doctor, and a cardiologist, and of course his primary care doctor. Because he was still sick, he was still running fevers, and doctors were hesitant to treat him because of COVID. They sent him away, rescheduled appointments, and unfortunately this was a time that when time was really of the essence for Jason. People continued to tell him, we're going to have to reschedule your appointment, reschedule you to be seen. Ultimately, Jason just continued for the next 3 weeks in extreme agony. They ended up doing a CT of his chest, Dopplers in his legs, ultrasounds of his abdomen, and on August 28th of 2020, we have an ultrasound that shows that there was significant blood flow, there was no blockage, no blood clot in his portal vein on August 28th of 2020. They determined there were no blood clots anywhere. His primary care doctor ordered another test, an MRI of his abdomen on September 23rd, that showed at that point in time he already had a chronic portal vein thrombosis with cavernous transformation. So essentially what that means is new blood vessels that your body creates that are formed to bypass the clot. When your body has to find a way to get blood supply to the liver without that transformation, or then your body has to try to find a way to get that blood supply to your liver, and without that transformation, Jason wouldn't have survived because his portal vein's 100% blocked. Usually that transformation takes significant time to occur. However, I have found research that states cavernous transformation can occur as quickly as 6 to 21 days after a blood clot forms. So Jason's acute blood clot then became a chronic problem, and that's been a struggle to find treatment because when you research cavernous transformation of the portal vein, essentially it's a chronic problem and nobody's willing to fix it. Well, COVID's a brand new disease. People are not familiar with how it's working. We're finding out new things every day, and we have essentially found that the vascular system has become extremely affected along with the respiratory system and all major organs throughout the body. Jason's transformation occurred between August 28, 2020 and September 23, 2020. He went from no blockage to having a blockage to having cavernous transformation within less than a month. And we have proof of that because we have imaging studies to prove it. The reason I say it that way is because this blood clot's typically found in people who have liver cirrhosis, people that have liver cancer, people that have other liver issues or other conditions. It's not typically found in somebody who has no other underlying conditions. And doctors aren't familiar with it appearing in a person who has no underlying medical conditions, a person who was perfectly healthy. And we do know at this point in time, Jason didn't have any prior medical conditions because his hematologist thoroughly has investigated every protein factor, anything you could possibly think about. We've ruled out leukemia, lupus, any other type of hypercoagulable state or disease. We've ruled out any underlying condition. So at this point in time, he doesn't have liver, and at this point in time, he also does not have liver cirrhosis. His liver actually at this point in time is relatively healthy, except just mild scarring. But that was the only thing that they've seen. Jason went to go see vascular surgeons, general surgeons, hepatic surgeons, doctors, and we continue to be told that this is a chronic condition. He's had this for a long time. There's no possible way that this could have happened with COVID. These doctors seem to be hesitant to believe that COVID could have caused this. And one of the doctors that said that in the beginning, when he first met Jason, changed his tune when all the tests and everything that we went through determined, yes, COVID is the only factor at this point in time we can find that would have possibly caused him to have this blockage. Jason's condition again continued to progress, continued to get worse. He began having even more debilitating pain that sent him back to the emergency room on October 15th. At that point in time, we continue to see the cavernous transformation, and it has now progressed at that point in time. He had even more collateral vessels. His spleen was enlarged. He had ascites, lots of inflammation in his peritoneal cavity, including his pancreas. And then they sent him home. While we were doing this, simultaneously, we're also getting in contact with the Mayo Clinic in Arizona. And while we were in the Mayo Clinic, Jason saw hepatologists, liver transplant specialists, surgeons, interventional radiologists, hematologists, and actually they went to conference twice to review his case. Unfortunately, Jason has been on Xarelto, and it was determined while he was at the Mayo Clinic last week, his clot has grown significantly into both branches of the portal vein that go into the liver, all the way down the portal vein, through the umbilical vein, down into his splenic vein, into his inferior mesenteric vein, as well as the superior mesenteric vein and his pancreatic vein. So it's massive. It's huge. Because of this, the doctors informed us that the only surgery that they would be able to perform when his liver fails is a liver, small intestine, and pancreas transplant, which would essentially change his life forever, even worse than it is now. He's not a candidate at this time because he's not in liver failure at this point in time. However, we don't want to wait for that, but if we have to wait, we do feel it's only a matter of time. The interventional radiologist we saw stated that the only thing they were able to offer Jason is a temporary nerve block and eventually a permanent nerve block, just to help him handle the pain and manage the pain instead of treating him. The hematologist over at the Mayo Clinic, as well as the surgeons that we've seen, as well as his current hematologist, have all said no other testing at this point in time is indicated. Doctors continue to say, I'm sure this is difficult, but unfortunately there's limitations to what medicine can do for you. And we consistently are told that Jason's clot will be life-limiting. It's not necessarily the clot directly that's going to kill Jason. However, the comorbidities associated with a massive blood clot and portal hypertension, such as varices, hemorrhaging, enlarged spleen, enlarged pancreas, ischemic bowel, those are what could essentially progress to kill him. A 28-year-old with these comorbidities really limits the amount that medicine can do to save him if the clot isn't removed and to ensure a good quality of life. We're also worried because of how quickly everything's progressed thus far that it will continue at this rate. We feel it's only a matter of time. This blood clot has progressed in a way that doctors state that they've never seen before. There's a doctor who does liver transplants almost every day, works with the liver regularly, and they've never seen anything like this before. And he said to bear with him because it's all new. Because he also saw in the ultrasound there was no blood clot on August 28th. This is a new blood clot that has transformed in such a way and so rapidly that it's something people have not ever seen before. Jason's in extreme pain. He can't imagine living life this way. He was extremely active and could run 15 miles, training for marathons in March. He hikes, he bikes, he fishes, he runs. He has 2 little kids. He picks them up, and this has made doing those things very, very difficult for him. Now he's immunocompromised, and on top of being immunocompromised, his work is very physically demanding, and so he's not in a position at this time to work. We know, despite what some may say, that his time is limited. COVID and the vascular system is something that nobody's ever seen before. This is all new to all medical providers. And actually there are scientists and researchers, doctors out there that continue to push other doctors to understand this is different. People have not seen this before. What we're looking for are doctors, providers, people that are willing to take a risk and work on a case that they've never seen before, to treat him and help anyone who has resources, knowledge. My fellow people in the medical field, please reach out to resources that you may have, people that are willing to try new things. Spread the word, spread Jason's story. Please let people know what's going on with him, and please help us continue prayers. We need prayers. We need a miracle. Please help. Thank you for your time. Please continue your donations. They're very, very, very helpful. They will continue. We need your support. And we need to send him to providers that are going to open up options for him. And those donations are going to help encourage that. It will allow us to send him places where the doctors can help him. Your donations have been so generous, and we're so appreciative of them. So thank you for that. Thank you for your prayers. Have a great rest of your day. Happy holidays and Happy New Year. Thank you.